Lily and Marshall rocking it since '96.
Kids, sometimes the answer you're looking for is right in front of you. How I Met Your Mother is a show about Ted Mosby's search for true love, while right before his eyes, sharing an apartment with him is a perfect example of what love looks like in practice.
Wait, you guys are such an inspiration to the rest of us, how you're so devoted and connected.
Marshall and Lily, Judge Fudge and Aldrin Justice, Marshmallow and Lily Pad. This duo has widely been hailed as one of the best couples on TV ever.
Been together 17 years, she's a spunky redhead. He's got calves that launched 1,000 lady boners.
But while Ted desperately tries to locate the girl of his dreams, he fails to grasp the secret to his best friend's relationship success. That soulmates aren't found, but made.
Hey, look at this.
Here's our take on what Marshall and Lily tell us about the reality of love, contrary to all the myths.
Baby, did we just revolutionize modern marriage?
Damn straight!
You're watching The Take. Thanks for watching, and be sure to share and subscribe.
This video is brought to you by Skillshare, an online learning community where millions of people come together to take classes that fuel their creative journey. If you're one of the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below, you'll get 2 free months of Skillshare Premium. So join today and start exploring your creativity.
Lily and Marshall, awesome. Have you met the awesomes? Marshall, Lily, their son Totally, and their daughter Freakin'?
It's highly unusual for a sitcom about 20-somethings to start off with 2 members of the main cast already firmly coupled up.
Will you marry me?
Shows like Friends, Seinfeld, The Big Bang Theory, New Girl, or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia all introduce their main characters as very single.
Come on, you're single. Have some hormones.
See, but I don't want to be single, okay?
There's a practical explanation for this. Unattached characters ensure opportunities for storylines, dating exploits, in-friend group romances, and plenty of will they, won't they tensions to be milked for seasons to come.
Well, I'm just asking if this is a date.
But at the time of the How I Met Your Mother pilot, Lily and Marshall have been a couple for over 8 years. They're so firmly committed, they're at risk of boring themselves.
My hands smell weird. Smell this.
Yeah, they do. That's new.
On top of this, it's pretty clear to the audience that they're great together.
Hey, yo!
So it's not exactly like the average viewer is given much reason to want to watch this couple experience major romantic turbulence and drama. What was the reasoning then behind this choice that seemingly limits the potential for classic sitcom romantic subplots and development? When the show begins, Ted's closest friends embody 2 opposite views on relationships.
Do not pretend you're not the kind of guy who keeps a list of all the girls he's slept with.
I have one. It's called my marriage license.
On one end of the spectrum is Barney, the commitment-phobic player. And on the other are Lily and Marshall, the securely bonded duo for life.
We're Marshall and Lily. When people see us, they say, oh, look at them. They've only had sex with each other.
No, Marshall, they say, oh, look at them. They've only had sex with each other.
This perfect couple embodies an ideal of sorts, hanging over the core story arc of the show, Ted's search for his soulmate.
What I know that Marshall and Lily have. I want that.
So what exactly is a soulmate?
Do you have a soulmate? Do I have to define that? Somebody who challenges you. I'm talking about someone who opens up things for you, touches your soul.
Generally, the term signifies one person who's perfectly suited to another in temperament, beliefs, and attitude. A level of compatibility so intense that the connection is often painted as mystical or spiritual.
Soulmate. 2 little words, one big concept. A belief that someone, somewhere, is holding the key to your heart and your dream house.
One of the earliest documented uses of the term in English comes from poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge, who wrote in 1822, "To be happy in married life, you must have a soulmate." But this idea that there's someone out there without whom you can't be content, the missing piece in the puzzle of your life, goes back at least to antiquity. In the Symposium, written between 385 and 360 BC, Plato describes the playwright Aristophanes telling of an earlier time when humans had double bodies. But Zeus split each of them in two, leaving each half incomplete and wounded, perpetually searching for that missing part of themselves in order to feel whole again.
You complete me.
This is where the idea of finding your other half comes from.
I believe that there's that one perfect person out there to complete you. And if you don't find him, what, you're incomplete?
Ted's ideas about love clearly descend from this outlook.
She's the one.
But the strengths of Lily and Marshall's relationship, which Ted claims to admire so much,
I look at you guys, and that's all I want in the whole world.
Don't align with Aristophanes' picture of love.
The honeymoon period may be over, but now you can get into the real stuff. And honestly, that's the best part.
Since he's obsessed with this symposium-like idea of finding his one pre-existing perfect match,
Okay, I'm ready. Where is she?
Ted acts like a detective seeking clues in the mystery of tracking down his soulmate. He obsesses over minor details about potential mates, like whether they like Star Wars or play bass guitar, to decipher if these are signs of compatibility or incompatibility.
Well, what's perfect?
Attractive, college educated. She wants 2 kids, a boy and a girl. She likes dogs, Otis Redding, does the crossword.
But in the very first episode, Lily and Marshall cast doubt on the idea that these seemingly symbolic details actually lead to any meaningful insight. From observing his friends, Ted has crafted a very thin theory that soulmates' tastes should embody an ideal of balance.
The olive theory is based on my friends Marshall and Lily. He hates olives, she loves them. In a weird way, that's what makes them such a great couple. Perfect balance.
Later, though, it's revealed that Marshall was lying about disliking olives.
You like olives. Well, I was 18, okay? I was a virgin. Been waiting my whole life for a pretty girl to want my olives.
So from the pilot, the show announces that a person's preferences and affinities don't dictate whether they're the one for you. The question is just whether you accept those things about them. And in the end, the details don't matter at all.
Lily, I like olives.
We'll make it work.
Ted also believes, in keeping with Aristophanes' idea, that when he meets his soulmate, he should immediately know it's her.
When I saw you doing the chicken dance out there, I'm not gonna lie to you. Big time thunderbolt.
To quote the Symposium, and when one of them meets with his other half, the actual half of himself, the pair are lost in an amazement of love and friendship and intimacy, and one will not be out of the other's sight, as I may say, even for a moment. Thus, Ted often insists on following his gut feeling, even when this feeling is not reflective of reality. He's chasing the kind of thunderbolt feeling that reassures him a woman he meets is the one.
It was like something from an old movie, where the sailor sees the girl across the crowded dance floor, turns to his buddy, and says, "See that girl? I'm gonna marry her someday."
But the thing about gut feelings, otherwise known as intuition, is that they are actually our brain's rapid guesses based on previous experience. So these intuitive feelings are more likely to be accurate when they are based on a wealth of information about the topic at hand. This explains why Marshall, early on in his relationship with Lily, has doubts.
But is everything happening too fast? I mean, maybe I should see other people.
While later on, when he knows her better, he's completely convinced she's the one for him.
But when I think of spending the rest of my life with Lily, committing forever, no other women, it doesn't scare me at all.
At first, his gut feeling is based on his ideas of what life should be like, whereas later it's based on years of actual experience being with Lily.
More and more each day. I love you, Lily.
Marshall and Lily's secret, the one Ted fails to understand for a long time, is that they haven't been together forever because they're perfect for each other. It's being together, loving each other through everything, and choosing to act in their mutual interests that makes them become perfect for each other.
I vow to keep at least 80% of these vows.
That seems high.
Then I vow to keep updating them as we go.
As we mature, the relationship matures with us.
Where Aristophanes' metaphor describes love as a blissful, static destination, Lily and Marshall's merits as a couple actually point to a second theory of partnership. Love as a journey, defined not by a predestined compatibility, but by the choice to stay together.
Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things.
As a University of Toronto study outlines these two dominant theories, love can be metaphorically framed as perfect unity between two halves made for each other, or as a journey with ups and downs. It's notable that traditional wedding vows typically warn the bride and groom that there will be good and bad times ahead, requiring them to accept this person in sickness and in health, for better or worse, for richer or poorer. And it's adhering to this outlook on love that actually makes Lily and Marshall work.
When I married you, I married your problems too. The ones I knew about and the ones I didn't.
There's actually lots about this supposedly perfect couple that's far from perfect. None of the big moments in their relationship look like the fairy tale Hallmark card images they're supposed to. Their engagement is both banal and traumatic.
Pretty easy, right?
Their first apartment as a couple is a catastrophe.
The next 30 mortgage-paying years of our lives will be spent on this floor, and it's crooked.
They cancel their first wedding, causing great public embarrassment to them both, and on their actual wedding day, everything that can go wrong does.
Lily, are you okay?
What do you think? Of course I'm not okay. Everything that could possibly go wrong at my wedding has.
These are all the kinds of inauspicious, bad signs that might make a Ted Mosby call it off. Yet for Lily and Marshall, the idiosyncratic imperfections of their courtship tend to bond them closer together.
Lily, our wedding vows, maybe they were just too perfect for real life. Real life is messier than that.
Lily and Marshall also don't measure up to their society's ideas of an ideal couple in many ways.
These hips are not Erickson baby compliant.
They're not the picture of put-together, responsible adulthood.
Our baby's first outing was to a bar.
I drove a Cuervo on Marv's soft spot.
And can't relate to the mature, settled other couples they know.
Let's start drinking.
Oh, not so fast. In order for the tannins to mellow, we should let it breathe for about 30 minutes.
Freaking tannins.
But they demonstrate the relationship truth that instead of getting hung up on others' conventions, couples thrive when they let themselves be and act the way they feel most comfortable.
Please, Queen Kong, be gentle.
And crucially, they put stock in their own made-up traditions, like putting notes in the other's lunch, or telling each other what they eat each day.
2 eggs, a slice of cheese pizza, and some steamed veggies.
Everything bagel, chicken breast, some celery sticks, and a spoon of peanut butter.
Their self-created rituals serve as souvenirs of the journey they've traveled together and how far they've come.
A muffin, a pastrami sandwich, and a bag of chips. And I know it's way past lunchtime, but I love you.
So by being on this journey together, Marshall and Lily have become each other's soulmates.
Like here in this bar, there's only one thing that I see. And I see her brighter and more clearly than anything else in this world.
Perhaps the defining distinction between our two central theories of love is how they relate to the concept of fate.
Kids, destiny intervenes. Kids, never underestimate the power of destiny. But that's the funny thing about destiny.
Many who believe in soulmates also implicitly trust the guiding force of destiny must somehow lead the two other halves back to each other.
You guys are meant to be together.
In fact, the unity versus journey theories of love have also been characterized as destiny beliefs versus growth beliefs. Without any guarantee that fate will take the wheel, though, the prospect of the soulmate can become very sad and troubling. What if our perfect other halves are out there, but we never even meet them?
The chances of one person being another person's the one are like 6 billion to 1.
As Nick Hornby's lyrics in the Ben Folds song From Above go, sure, we all have soulmates, but we walk past them every day. This specter of the absent soulmate can breed dissatisfaction in all your actual relationships. If every time you're with a person who's not obviously perfect for you in every way, you can't shake the feeling that there might be someone better out there.
Hey, what are you doing right now?
Oh, God, no.
Awesome. Okay, I'll see you in like 10 minutes. Great. Sorry, Henrietta. Something came up.
How I Met Your Mother doesn't wholly dismiss either of our two conflicting love theories. We see that the lightning bolt instantaneous soulmate connection does exist. For example, when Barney meets his baby daughter.
You are the love of my life.
And of course, when Ted finally meets Tracy.
Funny how sometimes you just find things.
Lily and Marshall also meet in a way that seems, to them, fateful.
for some unknown reason, I felt drawn to room 110.
But it's later revealed that Lily took fate into her own hands to engineer this perfect moment.
I didn't know which room you were in, so I had to create a little destiny.
And crucially, from that point on, it's not fate that makes their relationship work. It's Marshall and Lily. So the major takeaway is that even if destiny does play a part,
It was love at first sight.
it can only get you as far as meeting someone you like. After that, it's up to you.
Aren't you tired of waiting for destiny, Ted? I mean, isn't it time to make your own destiny?
In fact, we witnessed several occasions where Marshall and Lily try to leave a difficult decision up to fate.
See, this is destiny. So, Captain, can you take us out to international waters and marry us?
Only to end up doing what they know is right for them instead.
That little look. You two just shared a look.
We don't want to do this.
We don't.
While it may sound like more work and less fun than lightning bolts, the journey mindset gives lovers agency, the freedom that comes with deciding that your love life depends only on you and your partner, rather than on external signs or social cues.
We win!
Best couple in the world!
Meanwhile, the love as unity mindset can lead to the frustration of feeling totally powerless over your own life and happiness.
Keep waiting for it to happen and waiting for it to happen. I'm tired of waiting.
Love stories on screen frequently end at the moment when the lovers have overcome the obstacles keeping them apart and finally gotten together. Again, echoing the Symposium's idea that the whole point is uniting with your missing piece. But anyone who's ever been in a real long-term relationship understands that getting together is often the easiest part.
Being in a couple is hard, and committing, making sacrifices, it's hard.
And Lily and Marshall's relationship is one of the few sitcom romances that delves into the complexity of what happens after happily ever after. Interestingly, while this couple's strengths stem mostly from the love as a journey mindset, a number of their problems arise from slipping into a love as unity mindset. Throughout the show, these two have to fight their tendency to become too bonded.
Oh, I need to get some eggs.
Oh, I'll come with you.
They struggle to function without each other, to an extreme that borders on codependency.
I mean, you have been preoccupied with Marshall all weekend. I have not. You have been sleeping with a doll made of cushions that you named after him.
At one point, Ted even accuses Lily and Marshall of basically becoming one of the androgynous creatures from Aristophanes' myth.
You and Marshall have basically melded into one big hermaphroditic blob. Some of us want a partner who challenges us to grow and evolve.
So in practice, this lovely sounding ideal of merging with another and acting like one organism puts both people at risk of losing themselves. We see this when Lily takes the drastic step of breaking up with Marshall because she's terrified she has no individual identity anymore.
I just need to go to San Francisco and do this art program and figure out who I am outside of us.
Meanwhile, the couple can be guilty of the kind of moral complacency that occurs when you spend most of your time with someone who almost always thinks you're right.
Good advice. Don't keep score.
They're not even close to finished. How do we not keep score, you ask?
Sounds like somebody wants to hear some examples, sweetie.
Bridget Jones even gave this phenomenon of self-satisfied superiority among couples a name: smug marrieds.
The only thing worse than smug married couple. Lots of smug married couples.
Their smugness can lead Marshall and Lily to invasively criticize and interfere in their friends' lives.
You broke me and Karen up? Are you insane? What gives you the right to do that?
Ted, I did it for your own good.
Whenever they fall into these negative patterns, though, Lily and Marshall find their way back on track by recognizing the need for separateness. Like when Lily sees that Marshall has been sacrificing too much of his personal dreams for their family plans, and needs to put his idealistic ambitions first for a change.
Once you've cleaned up all the oceans and saved the planet, you know, like a year from now, then we'll start a family.
Some notable other positive relationship models in sitcoms also showcase the health of the love as journey mindset over a love as unity one.
You know when I said that I want you to deal with this relationship stuff all on your own? Well, you're not ready for that.
I didn't think I was.
And likewise posit that soulmates must be made instead of found.
If soulmates do exist, they're not found. They're made.
And finally, in the universe of How I Met Your Mother, the controversial finale delivers 2 final nails in the coffin of the unity theory of love, through Tracy's abrupt demise and Ted's decision to try his luck for the umpteenth time with Robin. With Tracy's death, the writers almost seem to be punishing Ted for his obsession with surrendering to fate, as if sending the message, don't put all of your chips on destiny, because destiny has no obligation to come through for you.
Do you know how many signs I've gotten that I should or shouldn't be with someone, and where has it gotten me?
Meanwhile, the show suggests that all those years by each other's side have made Robin Ted's soulmate, and that their bond is deeper than the more ideal soulmate connection he found in Tracy.
The point of the story is that
you totally have the hots for Aunt Robin.
Throughout the course of the show, the gang spends a lot of time theorizing about the rules of dating and relationships, but Marshall and Lily are often the ones who prove these theories wrong. After Barney and Ted explain their crazy eyes theory to Marshall,
she's got the crazy eyes. Dude, the eyes, they're crazy.
Lily ends up acting far more irrationally than any girl in Barney or Ted's life.
You have crazier eyes than anybody that I've ever met.
Yet, it makes no difference to the man who loves her.
I've missed you so much.
So, despite the gang's best efforts to figure out the inner workings of relationships, they can't. Love is a journey without a roadmap. Still, in Lily and Marshall's relationship, we find the key to the show's overall philosophy on this central mystery.
Because one set of vows, it can't cover a lifetime of growing and changing with you.
It's never completely perfect, even with the perfect person by your side.
I love you more than life itself, but you're a million degrees. Honestly, I'm surprised your hourly pee breaks aren't just steam.
But if you make your own destiny together, whatever challenges fate throws at you, you'll never have to face them alone.
We're adorable.
We're Marshmallow and Lilypad, bitch.
If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified about all of our new videos. This video is brought to you by Skillshare, an online learning community that offers affordable classes designed to fit your schedule and your skill level. When you join Skillshare, you'll get access to thousands of workshops taught by amazing professionals, and you'll receive feedback and encouragement from your fellow creatives. One Skillshare original you can check out right now is Oren Sofer's class on the essentials of video. This class will teach you how to use lenses and lighting to convey emotion and elevate your videos using simple cinematography techniques. Right now, Skillshare is offering our viewers 2 months access to all their classes for free. But that's only if you're one of the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below. So join today and jumpstart your creative journey.